this.
You want it as close to me as possible.
Yes.
Like that. That's okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Yes. I'm doing fine. The year has picked up well. The weather is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are shedding off the troubles of last year, which did not end well. Remember last year, we ended the year. I think the highlight of last year was the death of Raila Odinga. And in my community, we also finished with the death of Cyrus Jirongo. So it was a good reason.
Is it a big blow to the lawyer community, the death of Jirongo?
It depends how you look at it, because realistically speaking, Jirongo was not holding any public office that you can be able to really pinpoint as at per the point of his death. But what he had done for many people in the community cannot be wished away, because he's one of the few lawyer leaders that had really risen to the apex of the politics of this country at a very young age. I don't think any other person has had money named after him. And I don't think any other person has. Among the people who have really sponsored so many people in terms of political campaign, especially in Western Kenya, I think he ranks at the top. I don't think there is any notable leader today from the Western Kenya that has not received some money in terms of campaign financing from Jirongo, from the Sifunas of this world, to people like the current Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula. And you saw them actually speaking about it themselves during the burial. So yes, he has had quite an impact. He might not have died in any office per se, but his impact cannot be wished away.
Okay. People of the internet, we are going to be discussing a few things. Number one that we are going to be discuss is that of the Orange Democratic Party. You remember when we were talking about, there is a gentleman who came out and said that hii chungwa imefinywa, imenyoroshwa, imekanyagwa, imegongwa na nyundo mpaka juice imeisha. I think that guy went ahead of himself, because right now we are looking at the real, suffrage of ODM. We are also going to be talking about Eliud Owalo. A lot of people are saying that perhaps they see Ruto's hand in the resignation of Eliud Owalo. And him saying that he's going to vie as a president, because he was very close to the president, and then suddenly jumps ship and says that now he's going to be his own man. We are also going to be touching on a few other things here and there, but I want us to start with the statement that ODM put out after their press conference in Vipingo, Mombasa. But the question I want to ask you before that is, what is really going on? And this is a question that I asked to Odhiambo. Odhiambo was wishy-washy about it. I asked him this question: what exactly is wrong with ODM? Sifuna is holding that position illegally, because the constitution of ODM says that after 5 years, you have to vacate. Or at least another conversation has to be had in terms of elections, correct?
Yeah.
We have some other people also masquerading as the party leader. Oburu Otenga, obviously he was put in place by the CMC. What is it called?
Central Management Committee.
Central Management Committee.
Yes.
We have another red herring in the name of Sifuna. Your village mate from Western.
Yes.
Is giving them sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Ovidi said that he has been bought by Ruto, by Uhuru, to wreck ODM and ultimately wreck the coalition that is there between Orange Democratic Party and UDA.
Yeah.
Now, some other people are also saying that is actually the wreckage that is currently going on is sponsored by His Excellency the President William Ruto. To what end, I do not know. Summarize for me what is going on in Orange Democratic Party.
That was quite a good way to lay it up. You have really done a good job creating that background. What is going on in ODM party, in my view, is political jostling that is one not extremely abnormal, especially in the event where you have a leader of the caliber of Raila who has left very unceremoniously. You don't expect the party to just proceed easily. Remember, Raila Odinga was this focal point that on whose anchorage many people of diverse opinion and backgrounds actually anchored. You look at people of an activist background like James Orengo would be able to anchor and be controlled by Raila Odinga. And yet you have now other people who are of completely different ideology, like in Junet Mohammed, who would still be in ODM. So this is a party that put together people of diverse backgrounds together, but the anchor that was able to hold them at that actually the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So that demise has left a very big blow, has dealt a blow to the party, and that's why there is a lot of jostling. But be that as it may, now ODM does not have the umbrella person who would say something and the buck stops with them. Now everyone in the party feels like they are the back. Sifuna also feels like the back can stop with him. Now everyone wants to, the ego that had been contained and managed by Raila Odinga, now these egos are now rising up. Now these egos are now up there. Everyone wants to jostle with each other. Of course, we started even seeing them before the death of Raila Odinga. We had already started seeing signs of Sifuna not reading from the same script as Junet Mohammed and others. But at that time, you had not seen heavy support from people like Milio Dijambo and like that. But now they are coming out guns blazing. So it is the reality of what happened.
Millie Odhiambo is in support of Sifuna.
I saw her during the meeting they were having in...
with the Babu Owino.
With the Kinababu Owino. You see that faction. Now, the faction has grown bigger. It was not that big.
But it is also interesting that Millie Odhiambo was at Vipingo.
Yes. Now, that is the Central Management Committee. Remember,
she is part of
it. She is a member of the Central Management Committee. So I think what is actually happening in ODM...
And I believe Sifuna is too.
Yes, Sifuna is. He's the Secretary General. As a Secretary General, you are a member of all organs of the party. So he is also a member. So just to answer your question, I was simply saying that what is happening is unanticipated, and it is only going to get heavier as we head towards the election. But if you asked me, some people in the party, to me, seem to be more stubborn than others. Because there seemed... it doesn't even seem... There is clarity of direction in terms of if Raila Odinga is the anchorage on which all of them want to lay, then without pretense, all of them know that Raila Odinga left the party under the broad-based arrangement. Without pretense. Without pretense, all of them know that there was a 10-point agenda that is being canvassed between UDA and ODM. Without pretense, that is exactly where Raila Odinga left the party. So anyone that wants to move away from that position is creating their own position, but then of course you will anchor it on nicer words like democracy, we want to have a presidential candidate and all that. But the truth is, and the press conference that was done yesterday by the Central Management Committee just reaffirmed the reality of exactly where is ODM. It is true that ODM is in government. Yesterday, the press conference just reaffirmed, and the party leader said that they met so that they can be able to discuss the future of the party and how the party is going to form the next government or be part of the formulation of the next government, and how it's going to have a pre-election pact with like-minded people, and specifically they mentioned UDA. So that is the reality of where the party is. So the Central Management Committee is the organ that runs the party. So anyone that does not agree with the thinking or the direction of the Central Management Committee, it then does not become a divergent opinion, especially when you are an official of the party of the level of the Secretary General.
Okay.
So when you are the Secretary General of the party at the level of ODM like the Sifuna is, yesterday it was expected that agreement of the Central Management Committee was supposed to be read by the Secretary General. When the Secretary General fails to be there, and we have these things that are moving around and the politics as it is, it only points to one thing, that he does not agree with the decision of the Central Management Committee. When he doesn't agree with with that decision, the right thing to do is not to wreck the boat from inside. It is to move away, because then it is you who is in disagreement with the party. It is not the party that is in disagreement with you, because you are an individual. Sifuna is one individual. The Central Management Committee is an organ that runs the party. So when an individual has disagreed with the Central Management Committee, then it is that individual that is in disagreement with the party and not vice versa.
Why is Edwin Watenya Sifuna sort of forcing himself in this marriage? Because You know, I think that each and every day I'm losing respect in the man.
Yeah.
Because I think that Sifuna is a man that wants to have his cake and eat it
at the same time.
If he thinks that ODM is this organization that he does not agree with fundamentally, then he needs to leave. Okay?
Yeah.
But also, Sifuna might also be saying, no, I don't need to leave.
Yeah.
We just need to have an election so that, because Sifuna might be saying, there are people in this organization.
Yeah.
However, this organization is our vehicle. It is our house.
Yeah.
But there are elements in this house that have brought intruders in the name of, in his understanding, Mr. the President of Kenya, and other, agreements that have been made here and there.
Yeah.
Especially as he sees it now by somebody who is no longer alive.
Yeah.
Because according to Sifuna, he's thinking, okay, Raila was the one who sat down with this president and made a deal.
Yeah.
And largely he was, in fact, I sometimes agree with Sifuna that Ruto did not go to ODM per se. Ruto actually went to the man. The man with the influence, the man that is no longer here with us. And I'm just saying, by the death of Raila, there is an immediate and automatic expiry of this arrangement.
There's something you forget, Jagera. I don't know whether you forget or you conveniently forget.
Yeah.
That whereas you would argue rightfully that the first decision was between President Ruto, the man, and Raila Odinga, the man. The first person who supported this was actually Edwin Sifuna. You remember, at the height of the Gen Z demonstration, and when Raila started having a conversation with President Ruto, it is Edwin Sifuna who told the Gen Z that you should not complain because you said you are leaderless, but us, we have a leader.
You are also conveniently forgetting what you told me away from this podcast before we started. That there's reality of politics.
And
that reality of politics could have been that Sifuna actually was under pressure to say these things, and only a fool doesn't change his mind.
Okay, and that is an imagination, Jagero, because he has not told us he's under pressure. You are choosing to put him under pressure, because that is exactly what he said at the time. And now, when you come forward again, where the party now gets itself into this, after the loss of Raila's AU election at the African Union level, when Raila Odinga came back to the country, then now there's a formalization where there was now a pact between UDA and ODM on the 10-point agenda. So it became an official party matter. And the person who read that press conference to even inform Kenyans about it was Edwin Sifuna himself. So for me, it is an act of being a person who, exactly using your words, wants to eat the cake and have it at the same time. Where as a Secretary General, you want to read the statement of the party, and then tomorrow morning you wake up on Citizen TV opposing the statement that you read. Why? Because you want to remain a populist and a Secretary General at the same time. Sifuna has to make a decision whether he wants to be a populist or a Secretary General. Because as a Secretary General, you must be able to read the message of the political party. And many times he has always told us that when you see me speak, I speak for the party. I don't have to agree with everything, but when a party decision is taken, that exactly is the party decision. So party decisions, unfortunately, Jagero, and I've served in political party before, party decisions are not decisions of your convenience. Sometimes you would sit in a political party NEC meeting and the decision being taken is not of your convenience. But once the decision is taken, it is owned by all of you in the party as officials, and it is expressed by the Secretary General. ODM finds itself in this quagmire where the person who is supposed to express the decisions of the political party is the one who wants to express his own opinion. Now, whereas democracy dictates that everyone has a freedom of speech, but when you occupy the seat of a Secretary General, then your freedom of speech is a bit limited, because then we cannot be able to decipher at what point you're Secretary General and at what point you're an individual. If Sifuna wants to exercise his freedom of speech without compromise, he has the option of resigning from the position of Secretary General and becoming a member of ODM. And as a member of ODM, he can express his opinion. But as Secretary General, you must be able to communicate the position of the political party, and you can't be able to be playing populist to the extent of supporting candidates who are not of the candidates of the party. Remember, in the by-election, Sifuna was outrightly in Malava supporting the candidate of DAP during the by-election at a time when ODM had a candidate in Kasipul, at a time when ODM had an MCA candidate in Nairobi where Sifuna is domiciled. But instead of being in Nairobi or in Kasipul or wherever ODM was having the election, he opted to support candidates of other political parties. That in itself, in fact, is a malpractice, because under the Political Parties Act, it's a malpractice, because once you start showing behavior that supports other parties, wearing those party colors, expressing the ideals of those parties, you are deemed to have vacated your original party. And that's just for a member. So what about a Secretary General? So the truth is, if you ask me, the truth is Sifuna is not reading from the same script with his party.
There is something something that happened even as you go on. There was this photo that went viral that was largely consisting of rebels of ODM.
Yeah.
And even we all know that even Eliud Owalo has been on the side of Babu Owino and Sifuna, or they have been very lukewarm, to say the least.
Yeah.
When you saw that photo, what was the first thing that you saw as a political commentator and analyst? What did you see?
I saw a regrouping of people of same ideology, but being disguised as having a conversation. Because remember, that came immediately after the birthday in Karen. And Ida Odinga had expressed that she wants the leaders of the party to sit and talk. And now, when they met, and Sifuna, in his messaging of that photo, said, we have started the conversations. Sasa, we are now seated, we are now talking. But you see, it can't be sitting and talking when all of you are from one faction. So for me, I saw a regrouping of people of one faction coming up with a strategy for their faction on what to do and what the exit strategy should be. I think Sifuna will eventually exit ODM. What he's lacking is just a strategy to do it.
The strategy and perhaps the house where he goes.
And the house where he goes. I think that is what is a
they,
bit of...
They are agitating for the National Delegates Conference.
Yeah.
At what point should this decision be made? And why is it that Babu Owino is there, Eliud Owalo is there, but nobody seems to be having the appetite for an NDC?
You see, Jagero, these are people who should be able to be understanding structures of political parties. If there is a place they were supposed to have an NDC, it was in Mombasa during that ODM at 20, because they had all the members and whatever there. Now, when you have an acting party leader as a political party, it is at the subject of the confirmation of your officials that then you can have an NDC. If they did not have an NDC to confirm their own party leader, it was a mistake on their own part. So just because it does not go your way, it doesn't make the road bad. For them, they say he who comes wherever must come with clean hands.
Yes.
Okay? So if the NDC was the most important thing, then the agitation would have started before the confirmation of the party leader. And that would have been seen to be clean hands. But we cannot go through the process, confirm the party leader, confirm the party officials, and then the ones who are not confirmed, the ones who fail to get what they wished for, now start saying we need an NDC. I think that therefore does not become clean hands. You see, we cannot be able to say that the decision is wrong because it didn't favor you.
Yes.
No, you must be able to understand that when you are in an institution, and not just a political party, even when you are at a media house or whatever, once you have a decision and the decision is made, you must be able to abide by that decision. So everything here that is happening, for me, is just... and by the way, I don't think there is anything so big that will happen if Sifuna leaves ODM. It's also just imaginations, because I don't see...
I also think so, because I wanted to ask you about the currency of the gentleman, the political currency that he carries with him.
Yeah.
I don't see any. Anyway, I want to go ahead and talk. People of the internet, we want to talk about we are still going to discuss Owalo, but we have got a lot of appetite for ODM and what is going on.
Yes.
What is going on there? There is the unseen guest, the silent listener to every conversation in ODM.
Yeah.
I asked Odhiambo Tieno about it, and he told me that actually she is the driving force in so many things that are happening on ODM, and that is Ida Odinga, Raila's widow.
Yeah.
Okay. Odhiambo said that she should be the one leading ODM at the moment. Do you agree? What do you think? I completely disagree. One of the reasons why I disagree is that I feel like ODM has been run as a household item, one of the items in Raila Odinga's estate. Every elections we have had secretariats cropping up and collecting money on behalf of ODM aspirants. We are not afraid to say that. But there is a word that you usually say that I really don't know how to say it, but I would really love to say it. Yes. Be that may. How do you say it?
Now I went to Kamsinga.
Huh?
I went to Kamsinga, unlike you, who went to Jarpatunyo.
Now, anyway, go ahead and answer me.
You see, Jagero, sometimes these ODM people, there is... at one point, they want an NDC.
Okay.
But when they want Ida to lead, they don't want an NDC. You see how confusing they can be.
Yeah.
So, I do not dispute that there might have been an undertone hand of political maneuvering that Ida Odinga has been able to do all this while Raila was alive. Because being spouse to a top politician like Raila, we can only be politically naive to imagine that she does not have any understanding of politics. But we must also come to the political reality that as a country, we have always tried to move away from personality cult politics. And that's why we gave ourselves the new mandate, the new law, whereby political parties are funded by the taxpayer. So political parties are public institutions. And that is why, just the same way Rigathi Gachagua cannot be able to hold office as a governor or a president, he cannot hold office as a party leader. Why? Because party leaders are public servants. So when you say that now you want us to you are taking us back to a situation where when a party leader is not there, the spouse takes over or the son takes over, then we'll be retrogressing as a country. Because political parties are owned by the people. They are owned by members of the political party. So the moment we start having those kind of conversations, then in themselves, they are first of all retrogressive. Two, why would Ida Odinga be party leader? Is she a politician in the first place?
Odhiambo said that she's the strongest.
The Odhiambo sometimes is very emotional with the issues around the Odinga family for reasons you understand. Because sometimes he would make such sentiments because
Mara was a child in that house.
He was a child in that house. He was whatever. So he's always sometimes trying to please his masters or whatever, whoever they are.
His mother.
Or the mother. Yeah. So, but the truth is, for some of us who have no ties of that line to the family, we can only be able to analyze the politics as is. And I don't see at what point you bring in someone like Ida Odinga to be able to be now running the affairs of ODM. For Oburu Odinga, it would be understood and it was easier because Oburu is a politician. He's been there. He's senator. So it's not like you've just picked someone from the oblivion from nowhere. And again, he was made so by the Central Management Committee. Remember, that is the organ that runs the political party. So the organ that runs the political party is the one that decides who then leads the party. It cannot be decided by Odhiambo on political headache.
You remove political headache from your mouth.
But you're asking about the political currency of Sifuna.
Yeah, but do I want to go there or I want to go straight to something else?
No, it's important to discuss the political value.
Okay, go ahead.
Because there is a lot of fanfare around what happens if Sifuna leaves. And whereas I agree that I may be wrong, but I don't see the weight of political value that ODM gets itself into in terms of a mess just because Sifuna has left. Because I don't see Sifuna's constituency. Because there are people that in politics you can be able to see their constituency and you can feel the weight of their leaving or their coming. We have politicians like Babu Owino, who has a heavy constituency. Babu Owino would call a meeting tomorrow in town, and I can be able to assure you that you'll have people. If Jagero, you offend Babu and he calls a demonstration outside these offices of yours, I can be sure that it will be a threat. But then when I look at Sifuna, I ask myself, what is Sifuna's constituency per se? I do not see Sifuna's constituency. I only see people who are passionate and in love with Sifuna because they are online. Yeah, and because of probably the politics of 1 term and 2 term, and someone just feels like he's speaking what we want. But in terms of people who would actually wake up in the morning to go to the street to cause chaos because Sifuna is out of ODM, I don't see any of that. I don't see even lawyers coming out to say now you have dealt with our son. No, the problem with our politics.
You lawyers also don't come out very strongly for your people.
You might be right, and that's also part of our maturity, because coming out does not necessarily make you mature.
You have to turn it.
So when you look at the Western Kenya politics, Jagero, I do not see where Sifuna has anchored, where there is a
He's not an Atembea.
He's not an Atembea. There is nowhere where ODM benefits a lot from Western Kenya because Sifuna is there. For instance, Sifuna comes from Kandui in Bungoma County, the same as myself. Do you know that in the
same constituency?
No, we come from different constituencies.
But what is Kandui?
Kandui is a constituency. So I meant Kandui, Bungoma County, like myself. In Bungoma County, ODM has no single elected member of parliament. In the whole of Bungoma County.
Really?
So, yeah. There is even no single elected MCA on ODM in Bungoma County, not even his own MCA. So that is what we measure political value using. So that would be political value. In the event that you could even be able to say Bungoma is in ODM because of Sifuna, I don't see it. You still cannot be able to say Nairobi is in ODM because of Sifuna, because Nairobi was far in ODM way before. Now, when you look at the political value, you test with things like the by-election with the MCA in Nairobi. If Sifuna would be able to deliver such things, then you would be able to see the political value. But I think the only thing that ODM might lose with the exit of Sifuna is oratory skills and heavy speaking and dismissing people probably on television and speaking tough. Give it to him, he's quite a good speaker. He knows how to defend an agenda, and that's good enough. But I think that would be the only thing. And when we talk about speaking and oratory skills and such, there are so many talents in ODM that can actually be able to serve as that replacement. So I don't necessarily see a lot of value in terms of there is something heavy that ODM loses because Sifuna lost.
Let's go to their let's now go to their statement before we go to Owalo's issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was held in Kilifi County on January 12th. That is yesterday. The Central Committee talked about a range of things that they want to do that is important for them today going forward. There is obviously they revisited ODM at 20 anniversary celebrations, which is a non-issue and a non-starter for us for this conversation.
Yeah.
They talked about November by-elections, which is under the bridge. We will not put a lot of effort in it.
Yeah.
Something, the meat starts at number 3.
Yeah.
Early preparations for 2027 elections. It says that the Central Committee noted that general elections will be held next year and resolve that the party cannot afford to wait to begin preparations. The committee directed that the structured work commence immediately towards positioning ODM not only to contest next year's general election, but to form the next government, including policy development, organizational readiness, coalition building, and candidate preparedness. I was a bit confused about, forming the next government, and then I realized that if actually they went into coalition agreement, they actually form a government.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. What do you think? Then there is the review of progress of 10-point agenda, but let's talk about the. And this is a lot. People are really wondering what. There are people seated on the other side of the fence looking at the squabble in the house of Raila Odinga, or Orange Democratic Party, if you like. What does the squabble and speak in one voice mean to Ruto? Which one does Ruto want? He wants a house in Desiree, or he wants a house compact and going forward together?
I think the first thing that Ruto wants, we must be able to remember that Ruto is a party leader of UDA. So the first party that Ruto wants intact is, first of all, UDA. Now, when it comes to a coalition with ODM, it is to the interest of the president that for the election he needs an ODM that has a grasp of its strongholds. An ODM that is popular, not just it should not just be a political party on paper, but it should be on the ground. Remember, he also needs the infrastructure that ODM has. ODM is a party that is over 20 years old. So, and give it to ODM, it is one of the most structured political parties that we have in Kenya. You can be able to go to your village, and I can assure you there is a chair of your village of ODM. You can be able to go to Kilifi, and there is someone in charge of ODM at the constituency sub-county level to that. So it's a party with quite a machinery. For anyone who is running for president, those are some of the things that you want in a political party. You want a political party first for its vibrancy. You want a political party for the structures that the party has. You want a political party for the support that it wields in different regions. Remember, we are in a country where political parties are segmented in terms of regions. And when you look at ODM, you are looking at Nyanza, you are looking at part of Western, you are looking at Northeastern, you are looking at Coast. Those are the places that have been predominantly ODM bases. And the president, as a tactful politician, I'm sure that is what he would be looking into. And that's why a coalition with ODM is quite an advantage as well to the president.
Okay. All right, great. They also attempted to review the progress of the 10-point agenda. And then of the 10-point agenda, they only spoke about the compensation of the individuals that were victims of violence that we saw. And they're also talking about the pre-election political alliances.
Yes.
They want to come together with UDA.
That is very important.
Yeah.
In terms of, and I think, I want to hope that they mean it, not just as a press conference. Because most of the time, ODM has very good plans, but it does not execute, and that is those are the problems we've had even in Azimio.
I think Uburu and the oldies at ODM really want that to happen, because I think that also gives them a life in politics.
Yeah, because they must be able. You see, Jagero, you must be able to get into a pre-election pact and have a negotiation on how the government is going to look like. I was a bit scared when I kept seeing ODM moving up and down without necessarily any tangible plan. And in fact, the wars within ODM was continuously becoming a distraction to their gains in the event of formation of government, because then, in the event they continue with the squabbles that they were having, they would have found themselves in 2027, and they would have found themselves rightfully supporting President Ruto, and they would have won the election. But then after the election, they would have discovered that there's nothing they had actually negotiated for. So that's why I said, for me, it is quite timely that Oburu has felt that they need to discuss pre-election pact now, get into formal agreements with UDA, get themselves in order, so that as they move into the election, they know that this is the stake that we have negotiated for our people, this is the stake that we have negotiated for the party. And I think that is quite a good plan. And you cannot be able to proceed on such a plan when you are still having infights inside your house.
Election pacts are about negotiations for your people.
They are framed as such.
Then comes the political reality.
Then
what exactly is an election pact? A pre-election
pact? A pre-election pact, Jagero, is something like what Musalia had. What even as when we were in Azimio at the time, there were parties that came together to form Azimio. Okay? When they are coming together, there are certain things you are agreeing upon. So when Kenya Kwanza came together, there was Ford Kenya. And that's why there was the issue of the 30%. Going to the 30% of government will go to the Western region. You remember that bit was also a big campaign tool for Kenya Kwanza at the time. There was pacts such as the party leader of Ford Kenya will become the Speaker of the National Assembly. Yeah? So whereas those positions are individual positions, but they are deemed to be community decisions. That's the reality of our politic. Now, there were pacts such as now Musalia will become the Prime Cabinet Secretary. There were pacts such as when the party from Maendeleo Chap Chap was able to agree that we'll be able to support the Kenya Kwanza administration, the party leader will become a minister, a cabinet secretary in government, and a few other things. So that is what is called a pre-election pact. So
it is basically rewarding of individuals in the party.
It's basically sharing of government by the various political players. So whereas you might call them individuals, Jagero, but in political reality, they are not just individuals, they are called the people.
Who?
Those individuals that are put in those specific positions. They are not necessarily put there, they represent
so a when Raila suggested Opiyo Wandayi, the Luos are supposed to be happy, or the members of ODM are supposed to be happy?
It is now the members of ODM and basically the community. That is our political reality, Jagero. Yeah, we might not, me and you might not think it's the right thing. We might not think we might think it's pedestrian, but that is actually the political reality.
Do you agree with that reality?
Part of me agrees, part of me not. The part of me that agrees is because, again, politics must be held in certain silos. Yeah. And certain people must be represented by others. That's why we even elect a member of parliament, because all of us cannot go to parliament. So when we're having a coalition agreement, we can't all be a cabinet secretary. For example, I represented the young people until recently. And at that time, when we are saying we want a young cabinet secretary, it can't be all of us cannot be a young cabinet secretary. An individual has to be picked. But that individual has to carry the hopes and aspirations of the young people. So if you are saying we are having a cabinet secretary to come from Western Kenya, that cabinet secretary must carry the hopes and aspirations of the people of Western Kenya, not just because going to serve the people of Western. Not really. He is going to serve the country as a whole. But the hopes and aspirations and the wishes of the people of that region must also be addressed.
Okay.
So that's how it should be. But unfortunately, sometimes we have individuals who get into office using that arrangement, but once they are in office, it is just about them. It is until the day they want to be kicked out, then they become a community project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Eliud Owalo?
Sure. What do you want us to talk about Eliud Owalo?
He's a Kenyan economist and management consultant and politician.
You have decided to read his CV.
Who hailed from the Nyanza region of Western Kenya.
Yeah.
He first rose to prominence as a close, because we have to background who wants to lead Kenya.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Okay.
His first rose to prominence as a close aide to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I'm reading it for the audience, not for you, by the way. So don't think I'm wasting your time.
Okay.
Yes, he served as Odinga's presidential campaign secretariat in 2013, effectively acting as Raila's campaign manager during that election. He was considered the diehard confidant of Raila Odinga in even up to 2017, serving as a senior strategist for the NASA coalition led by Raila Odinga during the 2017 elections. Okay, they obviously had ideological rifts that began to emerge after the 2017 elections. So then in August 13, 2019, he resigned from Orange Democratic ODM, citing divergence in political ideology and principles. Okay? His resignation later declared that he no longer found any common denominator. Something has gone off. I don't know what it is. Something has gone off. Please bring it back on so that I can see Mundalo properly. Okay? So, political career and key position he has held after the 2019 realignment. Eliud Owalo continued to reposition himself on the national stage. Okay, he joined the Kenya Kwanza. Following the Ruto's victory in August 2022 presidential election, Owalo was rewarded to win a top government post. And a lot of people are saying that because of the influence of Raila Odinga after the coalition agreement, after the handshake, he was spat out. So that is Owalo, and he has decided that he wants to run for president. A confidant of Ruto, or somebody that has worked with Ruto. And even after being kicked out by apparently Raila Odinga's, involvement with UDA government, Ruto again gave him a role as an advisor. Then suddenly he just bolts out. What is going on? A lot of people are saying that we are seeing a lot of the president's hands in this thing.
First of all, Jagger, I think for me, Eliud Owalo is one of the people that I highly respect in terms of political strategy, and people who have been here playing the backroom side of politics for a while in our country, and having served at the helm, serving the former prime minister and all that. I also think President Ruto really did Eliud Owalo such a big honor to make him cabinet secretary. I think that was quite a good one from President Ruto. And even after the broad-based arrangement, he still found space for him as an advisor. So I think if anything, Eliud Owalo owes nothing but loyalty and respect to President William Ruto. But then it is within his democratic right to choose whether to resign or not. It is within his right to choose whether to run for office or not. Whereas many people are feeling like there is President Ruto's hand in it, I personally don't see it. Because for you to be able to understand the political dynamic, you must understand motive. Now, I ask myself, what would be the motive of President Ruto running Eliud Owalo for president? And I don't see anything that is helpful to him. I don't see how it helps President Ruto that Eliud Owalo is a presidential candidate. I have not put my hand on anything that how that benefits President Ruto. Because in the event that you want to talk about the votes from Nyanza region, that like I've seen other people opine and say it's about the split of the vote in Nyanza region, just in case those would not want to vote for President Ruto, then the president would have used a politician, a real-time politician who has a following. Eliud Owalo is not a politician with a following. He's a political operative, but he has not necessarily been a practicing politician with a following per se that you can be able to say there is something it benefits President William Ruto.
Okay.
I don't see any hand of the president in that. I just see the hand of Eliud trying his own things. I really don't see.
But the reason why a lot of people are perhaps seeing are not convinced is precisely what you're saying. So then why is he doing it? And I want to read you for you something before you go in.
Okay.
It is in this period that their relationship as boss and aide solidified, at least ostensibly. Owalo became part of Ruto's core team steering daily governance. However, their relationship took a new turn at the start of 2026 when Owalo decided to chart an independent political path for himself. Publicly, Ruto has not extensively commented on Owalo's departure, but political commentators have been quick to analyze the subtext. One view is that Owalo's presidential bid remains intertwined with Ruto's strategic interests. Embakasi North MP James Gakuya, for example, claimed that Owalo's ambitions are being shaped by Ruto and that Ruto created Owalo to run for the presidency as part of a 2027 game plan. According to his theory, which Gakuya shared, obviously on the Kenyan TV, President Ruto is tacitly supporting Owalo's candidature to split the Luo Nyanza vote and provide a third force in the region's politics. The idea, according to him, is that Ruto has been tactical in handling Luo Nyanza, using Owalo to create an alternative Luo leadership faction. Gakuya even alleges that Ruto will quietly back Owalo through an election so that any votes Owalo draws from the opposition's base could later re-channel to Ruto in the event of a runoff, with Owalo presumably stepping down to support Ruto in the second round.
First of all, I don't know at what level you put Gakuya in terms of political strategy and thought process. And because for me, I see that as just an argument from an opposition figure who must make it look like it disadvantages opposition in some way.
I also feel like I really don't agree with it, but you are the one speaking.
It is just a sentiment from, he's speaking from a position of an argument that must protect him and where he is. Because authoritatively speaking, I do not see any level of benefit that the president can have on having Eliud Owalo as a candidate in Nyanza. If anything, today as it stands, the president almost, I can argue that when you go to Nyanza, the candidate to beat in Nyanza is President William Ruto. He should be. I think he's the most preferred presidential candidate in Luo Nyanza today.
Things can change so fast?
Yeah, but
I can't believe we are saying that at the beginning of 2026.
But that is the reality. I'm sure you agree with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The larger Luo Nyanza is basically in the basket of His Excellency the President.
Yeah. So why would he want to divide it? Why would he want to divide a basket that is already his? So for me, that is very flimsy reasoning.
It's a political puzzle, though.
I don't see the puzzle because let me tell you.
Why? What is going on? Has he been slapped at State House and gone out in?
No, remember Owalo has a history of resigning. So
is that so?
It's not
that is new.
It's not a new thing that he's doing. Remember, he resigned on Raila Odinga. He went to do other things. He's now just doing exactly what he did before. So I don't think it is about President William Ruto. I think it's just about Owalo. Remember, Jagero, they say that limited ambition takes a man nowhere.
Limited?
Yeah, limited ambition takes a man nowhere, but too much of it is also dangerous.
I see.
Yeah, so it might just be Owalo being ambitious. It must just be a man being ambitious, because the problem with Kenya, Jagero, is we keep thinking everything that happens must be conjoined to something else, so that then it has an undertone of someone else. I think sometimes a man has just made up his decision. I honestly don't see to what extent President Ruto would want to benefit from having Eliud Owalo as a candidate. And if anything, if he really needed to have a Luo as a candidate, President Ruto has an array of influential Luo politicians who have a following, who are leading constituencies already. He would not be able to go out to a political first timer in terms of elected.
But you see also that I largely agree with what you're saying. However, President Ruto is also is not sitting pretty, because ODM and by extension the larger Nyanza region is very undecided on so many things. Because one of the things that actually people like Wanga want to be assured is that there is going to be zoning in Nyanza, whereby should they agree to be in a pact with Ruto, they would want that Ruto does not front, UDA candidates are not fronted. And Ruto is, in my head, Ruto does not want that. Because remember, in the last election, we had a serious voter apathy in Luo land. And we had somebody that they really wanted to vote for. Okay? A lot of politicians do not want to vie through ODM because they know that they are not going to get the ticket. And so they are hoping to start, if one of the strongest candidates in Kisumu County does not have a party as we speak, that is Tom Ojenda. Ken Obura does not have a party. All these great people in Kisumu do not have parties. Magwanga in Homa Bay does not have a party. You know, and remember, Magwanga was only defeated, or Raila pressured him to
step down.
You know, and these are very, very strong people. But they do not have parties. Ruto perhaps has realized that if he zones.
And show me how Eliud Owalo comes in to then stop voter apathy.
That is.
Do you think there are Luos who are going to wake up passionately in the morning to go and vote for Eliud Owalo? And because of that, there will be no voter apathy. Is there passion?
To answer that question also, is you must ask the other twin question. Is that, are there people who are going to wake up and vote for Ruto like with a lot of excitement?
Yeah, I think so.
There are others that may not see the sense of voting Ruto, right? And that is why, remember that Ruto used to have this marketing company from the UK. What was it called? The dangerous one that
the branding one.
Yes. They're very good at this thing.
Yes.
And therefore, I cannot actually, for me, I will not write out the fact that Ruto is in this thing.
Where I agree with you, Jagero, is the fact that whereas Nyanza might be heavily behind Ruto now. The problem might be that the turnout of them going to vote might not be as high.
Yeah.
And
And zoning, it makes it worse.
It makes it worse. Now, there might be need to bring something that can make them get out so that they go, so the turnout goes high. On that, I agree.
Yes.
Where I disagree is you telling me that Eliud Owalo is that strategy. Because I ask myself, in fact, there is more passion in someone in Luo Nyanza to vote for Ruto more than to vote for Owalo.
Yeah. And I would say that Owalo is worse than Sifuna in terms of currency.
He has no political currency. So I don't see the political currency that he brings. I would argue with that if you gave me someone of the nature of Babu Owino. I would be able to say, probably, that is a gentleman that has a political currency, and someone would wake up to go and with a futuristic thinking in mind saying, we are now building this young man for the future. But I don't see who is going to reason and say we are building Owalo.
Could it be that they are sending a message to the divided house?
Which the opposition?
No. The Orange Democratic Party.
To what benefit? That was my question. Because for you to understand anything, Jagero, you must also ask yourself the question, to what benefit? If we are saying that this is President Ruto's candidate, we must ask, to what benefit? I don't see anything that President Ruto has to benefit from fronting Eliud Owalo. In fact, in my view, in that relationship, the person who benefited the most is Eliud Owalo. Because President Ruto, I think, in terms of offering positions to political strategists and think tanks, I think President Ruto was very generous in his distribution of government. I think he's the first president to actually give strategists and think tank cabinet position.
To actually abide by his, to follow his words.
Yes, and give cabinet position. He even gave Kisiangani a PS position, PS Kisiangani. Now, can I be able to argue, Jagero, today that PS Kisiangani would deliver the Luya vote to President Ruto?
No.
That would be far-fetched. The same thing, I cannot be able to argue that Eliud Owalo would be a reason as to why there was any reason the president would want to front Eliud Owalo for any reason. I don't see any reason why the president would be able to do that, unless my thinking is underboard.
Yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, it's a puzzle, like I said.
Yeah.
Things will begin to.
Yeah, we'll keep seeing as things unravel. Then maybe we'll see it becoming better. But as at now, I honestly don't see any of the president's hand in it. I just see a man who is nurturing his own ambitions. And as I told you, they say too little ambition takes you nowhere, but too much of it is also dangerous.
I want to wind out this podcast right now, and I think we have covered everything that we wanted. But a lot of people are watching you and saying, this gentleman that is so eloquent, how does he put bread on the table?
Yeah,
Perhaps you should be able to tell us what you do in real life, apart from political commentary.
Apart from political commentary. Yeah, they must be able to know I'm a political animal.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of political strategy. I have served in political party, but I'm also a communication strategist that leads an institution called Two Sense Leadership Institute, where we basically deal with training you on matters leadership, communication, and helping you build your brand. So that is what I do. Yeah.
How do they reach you? Do you have? How do they reach you if they want business from you?
If they want business from me, they can get me through my social media handles, Advice Mundalo. They can be able to reach me through my website or company website, Two Sense Leadership Institute. They can also call me directly on my number, 0702 33 11 39, and I can help them improve their brand. And for those ones in politics, I can help them win elections.
Very good. That's very clear. So thank you very much, people of the internet. Bunga camera on me. Thank you very much, people of the internet. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you want to be a guest in this forum, on this platform, I welcome you to come and talk with me, talk with Odhiambo, talk with Mundalo. And until another episode, bye for now.